Hello everyone and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. My name is David Oualaalou. So great to be with you as always. Taiwan President Tsai has resigned. Whoever thought, huh? In this video, I am going to provide you a brief analysis as to what it means within the global context. But before I jump into this, I want just to remind you about joining me for live stream on December 3rd at 12 p.m., 6 p.m. GMT. And I'm also going to be launching a webinar soon. I will send you the link and all that once I finalize everything. And also remember to subscribe if you have not done so and hit the notification button so you will be notified every time I upload a brand new video. So let's dive into this. In a surprise move, I'll admit it, I didn't see this coming. I did not. Call a spade a spade. I did not see it coming. Why I didn't see it coming is because I'm looking at the recent visits by U.S. officials to Taiwan. You all remember during the summer that so many U.S. officials from the Congress went over showing their support and so forth. So it surprised me that Tsai resigned. Well, of course, he resigned. It's because as the leader of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, because he showed really dismal results in the local elections across the country, across Taiwan, that is. So Tsai basically stated in her speech that she will shoulder the responsibility for the loss of her party's loss because she chose the candidates who ran in the local elections. That was a nicer way of saying, I am resigning because the voice of the Taiwanese people wanted to have a different path from the one I am embarking on. I have nothing against President Tsai, but the election now was a clear message from the Taiwanese people to the leadership there that, this craziness that you, the president, embarking on with China, we don't want that. Because Taiwanese are learning the lessons from what's going on in Ukraine. They are watching. They don't want their country to become like that, or that particular part of the world to just sort of descend into a chaos. So what Tsai said, and let me get the exact quote. What Tsai said was this, and I quote, "The results failed our expectations. We humbly accept the results and accept the Taiwanese people's decision." End of quote. Well, yeah, their decision was, we don't want these tensions to escalate with the motherland. That's basically their message, And this is where I am seeing it. Of course, she's going to remain in her position as a president till the presidential elections in 2024. What is going to happen from there, we don't know, because at this point, with this outcome, things are changing in Taiwan. It's going to become now a question of what the United States is going to do, what Japan's going to do. Because remember, Japan and the U.S. are the main supporter of Taiwan. And so Taiwanese basically were picking their mayors in their elections, city council members, and other local leaders in all 13 counties and 9 cities. Although I believe the local officials elected have no direct influence on Taiwan's China policy, Tsai has sort of framed, and here is what I do not like, and this is again my personal opinion, when politicians start to twist the reality so it can fit the narrative of how they want to influence people. So what Tsai basically is saying is, Tsai has framed the vote as being about showing defiance towards Beijing. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic. because she won't be able to say that the vote, what the Taiwanese vote supposed to express is that it shows that we, the Taiwanese people, do not want to have tensions with the motherland. So this basically, to me, it's a manipulation for her to say, well, you know, the outcome of the elections framed the vote as being about showing defiance. It's nonsense. Which tells me also, and this is my personal opinion, that she's not, even though she resigned, she's not convinced personally that what Taiwanese wants versus what she is being told to toe the line in this direction. That's basically what it tells me. So, because the way I will interpret this as an outsider, you know, I'm not a Taiwanese, I'm not a Chinese, I'm just an outsider. But the way I will interpret this, the result that is, because the result shows that there were limits to this resist China and defend Taiwan slogan per se. Because that was the electoral message that some of the candidates that she picked were stating prior to the elections. That's, to me, I don't see it that way. I just don't see it that way. No. Now you have the opposition. KMT wins in several cities. So KMT, by the way, the National Party, or let me get the word for it. Kuomintang. My apologies if I mispronounced it. Because their approach to this is that their victory in 13 out of the 21 city mayor office and the county chiefs suggest where the population in Taiwan wants the country to go. So it would be interesting to see what the election, the presidential elections in 2024, what the outcome is going to be. So. But again, you have to take this within the big picture. And the big picture is how this now is going to change the dynamics on the Taiwan Strait. How will China interpret now the resignation of Sigh? How the West will interpret the resignation of Sigh. Of course, when the West, when you hear, for example, France is saying we have to support Taiwan. When you hear Germany, we have to support Taiwan. And Australia saying we have to support Taiwan. You know, when those countries themselves have major economic problems that they have to deal with. And yet they are worrying about some foreign land, country, or conflict, or whatever you want to call it. So how are they going to be thinking about this dynamics moving forward? Because if there is anything we have to pay attention to is what is going to be now China moving forward as far as its policies. Because China has made it clear that it wants to reunify with, brings Taiwan in reunification, peaceful reunification with the motherland. Is Tsai's resignation an indication for the mindset that is changing in Taiwan? Possibly, possibly not. So I will be very, very interested in following up what Washington policy is going to be now. And I'm going to keep an eye open on this because, as I mentioned, and I'm sure you heard me a couple times, that I'm in the process of writing a book about China. And this one of the, I'm going to devote an entire section or chapter for that matter just to this topic. There's so much to write about, you know. And this is why I have to think in terms of the big picture. What does it mean as far as the geopolitical landscape? Because the bigger issue that if you can get something out of this video is this: the bigger issue you're going to have to think about, it has to do with now China-Taiwan relations within the big picture of China-US relations. Yeah, because that relations between Taiwan and China will play a major role in the presidential and national elections in Taiwan. I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. That's how it's going to work. So local elections, it's an indication. It's no different than what we have here in the U.S. Midterm, it gives an indication of what lies ahead when 2024 for presidential elections comes in. But of course, I'm sure Taiwanese people did not forget when the President Tsai hosted the U.S. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, during her trip. And that image, because there's one thing you always need to know, is that in international relations, context matters. So it was enough just to have that picture of Nancy Pelosi and President Tsai standing shoulder to shoulder for a photo op that was propagated around the world. So Taiwanese people didn't forget that, because to them it was the interpretation of what the U.S. speaker is doing here, to only aggravate China, to only create more conflicts. In addition to that, the Taiwanese people were also watching the images on their TV screens, whatever, of what's going on right now in Ukraine. You know, when everybody back then said, oh, it will be an easy cakewalk, and the West will provide the support, and Russia will lose. You know, Taiwanese people are smart enough to read between the lines and see where things are going. So it's no secret, of course, that China is not a fan of the DPP, because that just has been the norm. And also China has been using restraint in not using military to bring Taiwan to the fold. I don't believe they will do it militarily, only in one condition: if the red line is crossed, if Taiwan declare independence, which I do not see them doing that. That will be suicide. If this is why the U.S. maintains that ambiguous policy towards Taiwan. So that was sort of a way for us to tell Taiwan, don't be stupid. You know, we might provide you some assistance here and there, but don't be stupid. That's basically what it is. So the elections could also be an indication of a reflection of that the Taiwanese people wants to promote a peaceful relations with China. Yeah. Could it be also that the Taiwanese people oppose the independence and foreign interference? You know, there are so many interpretations to all this. This is why the outcome, the resignation rather, it's not limited only to Taiwan, but it goes outside the borders of Taiwan or Asia for that matter. So this is personally how I interpret it. So it'll be interesting, as I said earlier. I will be watching as to what's going to emanate from Washington as far as the next policies vis-a-vis Taiwan. So here's my question for you for today. Yeah. Will China and Taiwan relations take the back seat? Let me repeat. Will China-Taiwan relations take the back seat following the resignation of Sigh? So make sure to let me know what you think. And as always, remember, geopolitics impacts your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time. Bye-bye.